hello, my most amazing artist. I'm so excited that you're joining today. Today we're going to be making a work of art called Dinosaurs Love Snacks. What do you think a dinosaur's favorite snack food might be? Well, if you're wondering why I'm wearing donut earrings with a dinosaur dress, that might give you an idea of what I've been thinking. So, while I'm chatting with you up front, go ahead and be thinking about maybe what are some of your favorite snacks. What could be your dinosaur's favorite snack? Let's go ahead and do our art class catchphrase. I make messes. I make mistakes. But deep inside, I got what it takes. I am an artist. Now, I want to make sure to give a big old shout out to our sponsors, and that would be Dixon Ticonderoga, the maker of my most favorite pencils and construction paper. I'm actually going to be using a lot of construction paper today, and they're the ones that provide that for me. If you don't have construction paper today, don't worry about it. White paper or any kind of paper that you might have, even a brown grocery bag, all of that will do the trick. So thank you, Ticonderoga, for sponsoring today's art lesson. Also, big shout out to Art to Remember, our other sponsor. Did you know that you can create your very own online art gallery with Art to Remember? It's totally free. You just take pictures of your artwork and pop it up onto their site. And then anybody who logs in, grandma, grandpa, anyone like that can take a look at your artwork. And they can also have it printed on a whole slew of really cool things. So thank you, Art to Remember, for joining us here. All right, guys, let's talk supplies. Let's first see what we're making. We got a dinosaur here, and he's just like a regular old hungry kind of cranky dinosaur until you reveal, ba-bam, what he's munching on. What could his favorite snack food be? Obviously, this guy's like me, a fan of donuts. I'll show you the other one I made. Let's see what this dinosaur is craving. Tacos! It's Taco Thursday, apparently. So we are going to be needing some construction paper or white paper if you have it, scissors and glue, a piece of paper for the mouth, and a whole lot of imagination. All right, go ahead. Let's get our pinkies out and ready. I pinky promise that no matter what, I will try my best. We'll finish what I start. I will keep a positive attitude. Mwah! Did you know that we are going to be using all of the elements of art today? Let's go through them real quick. Line, shape, color, baby, color, form, value, texture, and space. All right, grab those supplies and let's get started. All right, guys, today we're going to be making these really cool pop-out dinosaur mouths. So when the dinosaur's mouth is closed, he just looks like a really cranky dinosaur. You don't have to make yours cranky, but mine's a little hangry. That means it's hungry and angry. I get a little bit like that sometimes. So let's just see what our dino's favorite snack might be. Tacos? What? Who knew dinos loved tacos? So you could make a pop-out dinosaur mouth. Notice that my paper is going horizontally, my dinosaur's head, and that my pop-out is going vertically. That's one way you could do it. Let me show you another dino I made. I made this one. This one is going vertically. So you can decide which one that you like the best, and let's see what this guy's munching on. Donuts! All right, guys, so our first step is to create the mouth of the dinosaur. We are going to be working on that first. I've got some construction paper and I have a piece of white paper for the mouth. If you don't have construction paper, don't worry about it. I'll show you how to take regular white paper and have a color and a texture to it. But first, let's begin with the mouth. Let's begin with a piece of white paper. Your first step is to go ahead and have your paper be vertical. That means it's positioned up and down. I'm going to take the bottom of my paper and bring it up to the top. So I'm taking the bottom of my paper, walking it up to the top. Once I have these two ends matched up, I'll hold it still with one hand. Got it, hand? Got it, Stevens. Take your other hand and smooth out the bump. There we go. Now I've gotten my paper folded in half. Now, keeping it folded, I'm going to take the top of the paper right here, the top of my paper, the other one's still here. I'm going to go ahead and take this paper and bring it to that fold that I just made, bringing it to the fold that I just made and squish, and squish. This other paper that's still here, I'm gonna go ahead and fold that over the last one I just folded, and there we go. Now I'm going to unfold just the one paper that I just brought down. So I'm only unfolding one. All right, so your paper should match mine. I folded it in half. I brought down the top. I brought down the second one. Then I unfolded that second one. Now this is going to be our dinosaur's mouth. Inside these two rectangles is where our snacks will go. That way when you close it, you just see the mouth. When you open it, you see the snacks. We will be adding or gluing this to a piece of paper for the dinosaur's head. But take a look at my paper. I'll slide it underneath. I have a slight problem. This is too big. It's almost the same size as my bottom paper. If you look here, the mouth isn't nearly as wide as the paper. We want it to be a little bit smaller. So what can we do? How can we get this paper a little bit smaller? Cut it out. You got it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my fingers. I'm going to take about 3 fingers and I'm going to put them right here next to my paper. I think I want my paper to be about 3 fingers smaller. So right here where my finger is, I will draw a little line so that way I know this is where I will cut. Now, if you want to, you could just take your scissors and start cutting up to there. But sometimes when I cut, I'm not always able to cut in a straight line. If you're like me, then you could do this trick. It's a little hard because I'm trying to fold a lot of paper, but notice that my hand is helping me by holding the papers down. Bend it over where that little crease was. Fold it. Unfold. Do you see that crease that I have now created? That crease is my guideline to know where to cut. Now, if your paper, your white paper that I'm currently cutting, if it already was the perfect size, then you don't need to cut. And look, you could make a different pop out with this one. So save it for later. Never throw your paper away. You could always make more things with it. All right, now let's check the size. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and set this aside because we're working on the mouth first. So if you take a look at these two mouths, you could have a mouth with sharp teeth. You could have a mouth with not sharp teeth. You're the artist. You get to decide whatever you want to do. You might want to take your finger and draw it first. So I'm going to take my finger. Let's see, if I were drawing these teeth, I would make big letter U's. This is a big mouth. So I have to draw teeth that are in scale, meaning I'm not going to draw teeny tiny teeth because the mouth is so big. So I'm drawing nice, big teeth. Then the opposite kind of curve at the bottom for the bottom teeth. Or I could do a big letter V. If you want to show that a chip is or tooth is a little bit chipped, I almost said if you want to show that a chip is a little bit toothed. You could always make your V have a little zigzag at the end. All right, let me think. I think I'm gonna do these teeth, but you do whatever kind of teeth that you like. So I'm drawing with a marker. You could draw with the marker. You could draw with a pencil and then trace. You could draw with any color you like. Maybe my dinosaur has a little gap between its teeth. Notice the size that I'm making my teeth really big. I'll make my bottom row of teeth with an arch going the opposite direction. Could even be missing a tooth if you wanted to. Now I could add a tongue. If I wanted to add a tongue, it's kind of like an M shape. It goes down and then pops back up. I'll show you. Boop. Boop. Cool. Okay, now we can color. When you color yours in, you could use markers, you could use crayons, you could use a mixture of both, which is what I'm going to do. When an artist uses a mixture of art supplies, it's called mixed media. That's what we're creating today, a mixed media work of art. So now notice that as I color, I'm keeping this closed because I'm only working on the mouth. All right, now let's talk about what kind of snacks we can draw inside of your dino's mouth. Roar! What's going to go inside here? You could think about what your favorite snacks are. You could think about a bunch of different snacks if you wanted to. It's up to you. I'm gonna go ahead and give you some ideas here. You can watch, or you could grab a piece of scrap paper and draw along with me. Let's see. What if your dino loves pizza? Well, when I draw a slice of pizza, I imagine what it looks like in my mind. The shape of a triangle immediately comes to my mind. So I'm gonna draw a triangle, or actually I'll start with the letter V. It looks like my V just kind of tipped over, and this isn't exactly like a triangle because the crust is actually at a curve. There we go. Okay, this reminds me of an ice cream cone. We can try that one next. I'll draw the crust, maybe whatever your favorite toppings are. That was super simple. If you want to get a little fancy, you could erase that line of the one side of your triangle and draw yourself some drippy cheese. Ooh, who doesn't love a nice cheesy pizza? Okay, let's see. I said an ice cream cone. Well, we already know that's similar to the pizza and that it starts with a triangle shape. I could also add a curve at the top. That helps it have more form because it's an ice cream cone. It's a form. It's not an ice cream triangle. You could go ahead and add the texture. Look at us using the elements of art, and maybe give yourself a nice big scoop right there on top. Boop. You could even make it stacked pretty big. It might have to go at an angle to fit inside the mouth. Ooh, I don't know if anybody ever puts fudge on top of their ice cream cone, but you know what? That's how my dinosaur likes it. Let's try a taco. What shape could we use for the shell? I'm thinking a not a semicircle, a half circle. I guess it is called a semicircle because it's half. There's my shell. I could show the texture. Now let me think, what do I love inside tacos? I like some lettuce, maybe a tomato, maybe some cheese. So think about anything you might want to add to your food. Oh, wow. Now, I have an idea. How about a donut? So for a donut, what's the shape? If you're looking at it from the top, it would be a circle, but let's tilt it so you're looking at it from the side, in which case it would be an oval. Then there's the hole inside the donut, which is also an oval. Maybe I can use a wavy kind of line to show the icing. Add some sprinkles. Now I know I'm going really fast, so you can always just hit the pause button. That way you can get caught up with me. I'm gonna now draw, let's say, a cupcake. Ah, yeah. Ooh, I'll put the little texture down here. Maybe I'll draw a couple of lines to show some different kind of colors. Maybe it's his birthday, there's a little birthday cake. The possibilities are endless. So think about how you can plot and plan the different kind of snacks or snack that your dino might like. What if you made him have a really tall, with all sorts of different ingredients, hamburger inside of his mouth? All right, I think I have it picked out what I want to do. You go ahead and draw whatever you like. I'm going to go with donuts. I'm going to draw a couple. So I'm going to start with an oval. You can draw along with me, or you can draw whatever you like. Then I'm drawing the hole inside of the donut. Next up is the icing or whatever you want to add. Give it some sprinkles. If you want to add more than one donut, you could always do something called overlapping. That's another way for us to show space in our artwork. All right, next up is time to color. I'm coloring in my donuts with crayons. You could use whatever you like, but if you do decide to use something like crayons, you can create a different kind of value by pressing really hard. That'll give you a nice dark value. And then if you go a little bit lighter, it'll create a light value. I'm trying to think of the colors that I would want on my donut. I should say the flavors. Maybe a blue icing. I do love a good chocolate donut. So think about what maybe you enjoy as your snack as you color in your dinosaurs snacks. Now, when it comes to the background, the part behind the snack foods that you drew, you have a lot of choices. You could color it black to show that it's inside the dino's mouth. But I kind of wanted it to really stand out. I wanted the snack food to kind of pop out. So I drew some lines to show movement, and then I chose colors that were really in contrast to two things, to the food and to the mouth. Contrast means something that's the opposite. So the mouth is very, very dark. I used a black crayon to color it. But to make the snack food stand out, I used a lot of colors that were very bold and very bright. I'm excited to see how you create and color your snack foods. Okay, I'm all finished coloring. Let's see if it works. What does a dinosaur like to eat? Bam! Donuts! Okay, now it's time to start assembling. Before we do though, we need to get out our paper so we can decorate the background a little bit of our dinosaur. So I'm going to be using some green construction paper. You use whatever you have on hand. If you want to decorate it a little bit, you can. You could use lines like I did, but you don't have to decorate it. You could simply add your dinosaur mouth the way that it is. So if you want to take some time to decorate, go for it. To make the paper have a little bit of a texture, you could do a couple of things. Use your markers to draw a variety of lines. Or you could take a crayon, hold it on its side, and do a texture rubbing. Or you could do both. Possibilities are endless. Okay, now I'm ready to go ahead and add my dino's mouth. So I have to think about the placement. I think right here would be great. I'm going to keep it folded as I have it right now and draw a line of glue, a rectangle of glue on the back. Go ahead and flip this over, and there. Okay, now I have my dino's mouth. I can either add nostrils by cutting out paper or draw them. I think for me, I'm going to draw them. If you want to cut them out, you could use black construction paper, fold it in half, and draw an oval. Here's how you can draw an oval. Notice how I'm drawing mine nice and big before I color it in, and I'll try the same thing on the other side. Okay, now let's work on the eyes. You could use that piece of paper that you had before. It's already folded. It might make a good shape for an eye, but if you want an eye that's a little bigger, go ahead and grab another piece of paper. I happen to have a small piece of scrap paper that I went ahead and folded in half. The reason I folded it in half is because I only want to draw and cut out my dino's eyes once. So with my piece of paper that's folded, I'm going to hold it at the bottom, and I'm drawing a nice tall rainbow, really, really big. And now I can cut it out. But as I cut it out, I'm keeping my paper folded. When you're finished cutting it out, then we can add the iris, the colorful part of the eye, and the pupil. You could color those in, or you could just leave them black. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and separate. Now I've got my two eyes. See, they could go there and there already. He's looking amazing. Go ahead and draw a nice big circle, your pupil, maybe a highlight. And I'm going to repeat those steps here. So if I went too fast, or you can just hit the pause button. Circle, pupil, highlight. Now, if you want to, you could leave the eyes like this, but think about how you can angle them. Are they angled down? He looks really silly like that. Are they back? Are they straight across? You get to decide. While you're thinking on that, you can start to add the inside of the iris, the colorful part of the eye. And I'm doing that with the zigzag line that radiates or comes away from the pupil. The reason I'm doing that is because that is what an actual iris looks like. Okay, now I'm going to glue it down. Now you might notice on this other one, I have some half circles glued down as the eyelid. If you want to do that, all you have to do is take a piece of paper, fold it in half so that you get two, decide how tall you want the eyelid to be, and put the eye there. All right, so I think I want it this tall. Then go ahead and cut it out. The reason it's folded is that way I end up with two, and those can get glued there and there. Awesome! Next up and last thing is you could be finished if you want to, or you could add your dinosaur claws or its little paws or hands. What are they called? I don't know. We can add those at the bottom. So to make those, all I did was I kept my paper folded, and I'm going to draw a big arch like a rainbow. And then maybe a zigzag line at the bottom for its claws. So I'm gonna go ahead, cut that out and glue it at the bottom. How did you do? Remember, if I went too fast, you can always hit the pause button. And you can also have your dinosaur go horizontally. Both of these guys are vertical. I know that yours are going to be amazing. I know that you're gonna have all sorts of fun snacks in your dino's mouth. If you had fun, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and to subscribe, because you know I'm adding new videos almost every day and I don't want you to miss out on any of them. All right, friends. Have so much fun making your dinosaurs love snacks pop out. See you soon.